Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to a brand new tactics video, and today we're going to be bringing you the ultimate 4-3-1-2, which picked up very impressive results across 4 very different teams. If you do enjoy the tactic videos, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and also do come over to the Twitch links on the screen now and also in the description. Do come and say hi. The chat is absolutely popping, and tonight, as soon as this video airs, or around an hour after this video goes live, we are going to be live 5:30 PM GMT, and it's going to be a good one because we could potentially win the league with Bologna. So do come and say hi and get involved. I hope to see you there. So, we're going to kick things off with 4th place predicted, Ebbsfleet United. And we put on a real show here. Obviously, winning the Vanarama National League South quite comfortably as well. Obviously, Ebbsfleet did come in with a decent season, but we dominated it realistically. We scored 107 goals and only conceded 35. Now, there are a few bookends in this, as I do like to have quite aggressive tactics. And I am going to be going over multiple ways you can tweak this, which obviously might affect the tactics performance a little bit. But I am going to be, nevertheless, going through every single option with you guys to make sure you have the tactic that suits you the best. But overall, a very, very good display. In terms of the data hub, general performance, we're looking at 2.33 goals per game and conceded sitting at only 0.76. So a really, really good stat line. Obviously, you conceding easily 1 goal less compared to what we're scoring. Over that, in fact, actually. So really, really good stat line considering we're not the favourites by far in this division. We're not favourites at all, but we're in the top 4. But there's a lot of teams in here that can take points off you. And obviously, there's 3 other teams which are predicted to finish higher. So it's sort of like a mid-table to underdog sort of performance here. And we've come out and absolutely mocked this division and got automatic promotion. And now we're going to go over to the squad screen, and these boys put on an absolute clinic. Obviously, we're going to see here Stefan Payne coming in, who's actually quite a good striker for this division, to be fair to him. An absolute baller, he really is. Only on 400 quid a week as well, which is something we do love to see. 43 goals from him, 16 assists, 41 and 15 from Ayers as well. Patterson, 14 and 6 from Patterson as well, said that twice. 6 goals and 10 assists from Maloney. Elatal coming in with 6 and 5. Any more high assisters? We've got Barnes with 14, we've got Papadopoulos with 10, and we've got 10 from Maloney as well. 9 also from Eselemon, I believe is how you say that. So a real mixture of assisters and also goal scorers. Obviously, with a lot of these narrow tactics, they do feature 2 strikers up front, as ours does as well today. So a lot of the goals are going to be coming from them 2 strikers. Obviously, that's the main outlet for the goals. But occasionally, you obviously, as we're seeing here, you see, for example, one of the attacking midfield players get a goal. The occasional fullback will obviously push up and get a goal as well. But majority of the goals are going to be coming from them 2 strikers. We're going to go over the league stats because it seems like quite a popular thing in these tactics now. So we actually can see most points per game, most goals, most shots for, very impressive. Fewer shots against, possession, just in second place, 59% of the ball, and pass completion, second best at 80%. We also had the fewest conceded, sitting at 35. So a really, really good stat line overall for this season from Ebbsfleet United. But now we're going to hop over to the next team, which is going to be in the French league. And this was a real test because obviously Reims, we're going to have a little look, a reminder, they are actually predicted to finish in 13th place. So it's a real big task. It's definitely an underdog side, this one. And we've come in and put on an absolute display. Obviously, we didn't win the league. We weren't expecting to win the league. But with a side like Reims to obviously come in and get second place quite comfortably over Lens in 3rd place is a real statement to how well this tactic performs with smaller sides. And obviously, we've not even tested with a big side yet. So we are going to see that perspective as well. But I wanted to make sure I got in quite a few, or at least a couple of sort of, you know, decent sides. This obviously being a really weak side in a division. And we also managed to get to the cup final in the Coupe de France. Unfortunately, we did fall to Marseille. It would have been really nice to win that, but to get to the final of that and also finish in second with this Reims side with no actual signings, obviously we don't sign anyone in these tests at all. It's an absolute incredible performance. It really is. And in terms of the data hub, we didn't let ourselves down either. We did just about concede over a goal a game, which is to be expected when you are playing with a side like this, but we managed to go out and score over double again. 2.18 goals per game, which I personally am really impressed with. The pass completion is shot up nearly 10%. Now we have got a little bit better players in that midfield. 88.52, so absolutely sensational stuff from that midfield and all around really. Obviously, the passing is usually kept to short in this system, so your passes are going to be very accurate, very pinpoint, very quick, and very nice to see. And that is what it's literally what the stats say. So I can't argue with that at all, and very impressed with that side of things. In terms of the squad, we're going to go by the goals first. We're going to be seeing 36 coming in from home, Balogun coming in with 29. I noticed the sheer amount of players. It was kind of 3 players I got on loan here. 11 coming in here, a loanee here with 5 as well. In terms of the assisters, really impressive stuff here. We're going to go from this point upwards of decent assisters. We're obviously going to have, or actually these 2 are on loan, so we won't include them. These ones we can. 28, 12, 9, 8, 8, and 7. Now, this isn't going to be, it's not advertised as, you know, like a crazy 16 goal a game sort of tactic, but this is a tactic that will get you results and is very good to watch. It's really good football and it works with every team because having that midfield so stacked makes it so easy to maintain possession, pass the ball about easily and slowly work your way up the field and get them goals. As always, I'm going to show you guys ways you can turn this into a high scoring tactic, so do stick around for that towards the end of the video. But if you're looking for an all-rounder, a tactic that performs really well on this latest match engine, this is the one for you. But we're going to go ahead now and look at some of the season stats also. And as you can see, we don't actually get a stat line in this one. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to hide it. I always show what actually happens, and this is what comes in. So as you can see, still a really good display. Obviously, 88% pass completion, which I think is really good, and most possession, only 2% behind Lyon, matching PSG, which obviously is really impressive. In terms of most shots for, actually not too bad either, just a few behind PSG. So in a lot of scenarios, we did sort of get what we deserved. Obviously, we finished second in the league. A lot of these stats, we're going to be second, if not sort of third favourite, because there was a few good teams in this league, obviously fighting for that second place spot, but we were the dominant one. We come and grabbed it by, if I look again, quite a few points. 7 points is, you know, it's almost like a 2-game lead, obviously, in terms of points, and Lens are a good side as well, so it's a little bit gutting though. I really would have liked to won this Coupe de France, but I'm not going to cry about it because at the end of the day, it's still a really, really, really good finish. And then we go over to a completely different country, one I don't believe we've tested in. If I'm right in saying, I might have forgot, that is going to be in the Brazilian league. And this was an absolute clinic. It really was. As you can see here, we won so many things. I'm not even going to read them out, but we won 5 trophies, obviously finishing first as well in the Serie A, or the Serie A, whatever you want to say. I don't know how you pronounce it in the Brazilian terms. Educate me in the comments though, but we actually managed to win 5 trophies in one season. So we literally did not drop a single trophy that we rented for. So that's exactly why I'm so happy to bring to you this tactic, because it really does perform well over a mixture of teams. And as soon as you go from being the underdog team to one of the better teams, you can see how dominant this tactic can exactly be. 103 goals scored and only 34 conceded. In terms of the data hub, we'll go to the general performance. We're looking at 2.71 goals per game, only 0.89 conceded, and pass completion still at around the 88% mark, which is exactly what we want to be seeing. A real tactical masterclass coming in from this side of things. I love how it works. The midfield's so stacked. When you actually watch it in game, which we are going to do, you see how well the passing is. The short passing links up beautifully. The overlap and fullbacks, it works so well. And to be honest, I'm actually a real big fan of narrow systems on this recent match engine. I really am. In terms of the goals then, now we are going to be seeing a lot of goals. We've got 41 here from Lopez, Vega with 39, obviously Endrick, who's gone into Real Madrid, 32 from him, 31 for Ronnie, Navarro with 24 as well, Gomez with 7, the assisters, I mean, we've got absolutely tons. All the way down here, I mean, including this guy as well. 10, 10, 10, 11, 11, 11, 13, 16, 17, and 17. So absolutely tons of assists. Way too many to mention, but what a dominant display. I mean, that is probably one of the most outrageous stat lines I've seen in terms of goal contributions and also goals. Everyone's been getting involved massively. And now we're going to go over to the league stats, and we do dominate a few of these ones, to be fair to us. So obviously, most points per game, most goals. If we go to the pass completion, we're actually in 4th this time, but all on the same. So matched up in terms of percentage at 88%, and most possession just a couple of percent behind, obviously, first place. And still, that is very good, because I could have made this tactic a lot more possession-based, but I feel like sometimes you can overkill it in terms of just purely focusing on the ball, and then you don't create enough chances. So I could have definitely made it to be a purely based possession tactic, but I wanted to also make sure we were scoring enough goals, and if needed to, also not be afraid to go more direct if it comes to it. And then we go over to the star team, Barcelona, and we won the Spanish League, the Copa del Rey, also the Super Copa. Unfortunately, we did get knocked out in the Champions League semi-finals against Manchester City, but they are a good team. I'm not too worried about that, because obviously we have won 3 trophies, and getting to the semis is still a very good sort of, you know, it's a very good success anyway. And in terms of the actual stat lines, we dominated the division. I mean, Real Madrid, 87 points. We come in with 103. And this is where we can actually see a really impressive stat line. 33 wins, 4 draws and only 1 loss. So a real, very enjoyable season. 117 goals scored, only 23 conceded. 2 red cards, which obviously I'm going to go over how you can discipline this side a lot more than what we are seeing. But to be honest, guys, if you're playing with a team that's got good depth, the aggressive style I actually do rate, because it does help getting, you know, a lot of intensity in the games, and not all of the challenges, just because it says tackle harder, it doesn't mean they're going to be bad challenges. Occasionally you are going to see the odd challenge here and there, but I do recommend playing with it because that intensity cannot be replaced. And in terms of the data hub, then we'll have a quick look. So this is the first one. Over 3 goals a game, 0.61 conceded, and obviously the pass completion is going to be better because we have got a very good midfield. 89.17%, so incredible scenes there. As you can see, goals per game conceded and the pass completion are pretty much the only 3 stats we care about in terms of this actual test. Pass completion is a big factor because obviously we should be having quite a high stat line considering the formation. In terms of the goal scorers, it's got to be the star man, Robert Lewandowski. 97 goals coming out of him. I mean, he's a real goal machine. We're going to have 25 for Ferran Torres, 13 for Pedri, Ousmane Dembele with 10, 8 for Gavi, Kessie with 8 as well, 6 for Fati, 4 for Araujo, and De Jong coming in with 3. In terms of the assists, we've got 29. I mean, we've got a lot of contributions here. All 10 plus coming in here. And also from this point down, we've got a couple of 5s, 4s, but also some 6s, some 7s. So we are seeing some really nice stat lines in terms of a lot of people getting involved with the goals as well, which is exactly what we want to be seeing. In terms of the league stats, it is pretty much all Barcelona now. Most points per game, most goals, most shots for, by the way, this is outrageous. 817 for this one. Fewer shots against, pass completion, we're going to be joint first, obviously, with Atletico Madrid, and also possession. Atletico Madrid and Real Sociedad enjoying more of the ball, but obviously not enjoying more of the trophies, which is the main thing. But still, 59% is really good. Obviously, anything sort of 57 and above, odd class is dominant in terms of possession over the entire season. There are also a lot of good teams in this division, so to have this much of the ball is actually a really good achievement in my opinion as well. And that leaves us with pretty much all of the tests done. Obviously, 4 very different teams. As always, please comment below what teams you want to see next being tested with, as I do love to respond to your comments. But now we're going to pick out a game to watch, because the reason why we can't watch a live one today is because I pretty much simmed all of the seasons, and some obviously for this one we didn't get to the final, other ones we did, and the timing was pretty much off, so I couldn't, you know, carry on simming unless I stopped to record and then carried on simming. So I just simmed a lot, and we're going to watch some highlights right now. I just want to take a very quick second to say, if you guys are enjoying the video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you like me as a creator, please do come over to the Twitch. It's pretty much live every single evening. As I mentioned at the start of the video, we're going to be live an hour and a half after this video. So 5:30 PM GMT. We should hopefully attempt to win the league with Bologna in the 2nd season. So do come over, say hello. The link's going to be on the screen now and also in the description. So I'd love to see you guys all there. It would genuinely mean a lot. So I picked out a game just because of the goals. I'm going to be honest with you, 7 goals. We should be getting to see a nice variety of how the goals do go in, and hopefully we can obviously see a little bit of tiki-taka play, and also how well these wing-backs can overlap as well. As we're going to be actually seeing Jordi Alba about to be putting the ball into the centre of the park, really, into Pedri, and this is a perfect example already. We're actually going to run this back because it's a really good example. So as you can see right now, we're going to have Jordi Alba, and look at this player here. It's going to be Koundé who makes the overlap and run. Obviously, there's always going to be a player specifically told to lurk sort of in this area to pick up any stray balls where they're not, pretty much when it's not a good opportunity to get it in the box, they are going to obviously drive it back into midfield. So as you can see, it goes to Gavi, and look at instantly as he sees this, Gavi plays it into Pedri, and look at him, he's already gone, Koundé, clearly onside, and this is the pure factor and how well it works with the overlap and runs. Gavi back into Pedri, you can see what's on his mind right off the bat. Koundé's calling for it, all the way through into Koundé, no other option, then across, and it actually sort of, it ends up being a weird finish, okay? It ends up being a very weird finish, but at the end of the day, we saw how the build-up worked, and it really was impressive. A penalty there, so nothing too impressive, apart from how good the pen was from Robert Lewandowski. We go again here, obviously playing out from sort of midfield, then a bit more of a direct approach this time into Lewandowski, and we do love the match engine on this channel, we really do, as you can see it in its full joy and elegance there, as Robert Lewandowski gets one of the easier goals of his career. It's now going to be a little set piece routine from Frankie de Jong into the right corner, and again we can't really complain. We've still got a few more goals to come, and it's going to be another set piece from Robert Lewandowski, so I think we are going to end up watching a second game at this rate. That's always interesting. Some good set pieces though, into Pedri, into Roberto, again Gavi in absolute acres of space. actually a little bit of trickery inside, and that is beautiful. An individual piece of quality from Gavi, and that really does sum up the type of player he is. He's a real joy to watch. Christiansen pushed up quite high here, and again, look at the space out there. Into Gavi, acres of time, back into Lewandowski, one touch and a finish. I mean, this is what can happen when you've got strikers like Lewandowski, or anyone of decent quality. You create so many really good chances. Oh, purely for the content, guys, purely for the content, we're also going to be watching this game in what was actually a 9-1 win. And it was a game where we found ourselves go 1-0 down, I believe, right from the start, as you can see, inside of 4 minutes. But one thing I've learned with this tactic is just trust the process, because you will always get back into the game. And that's exactly what you can see us doing here. As you can see, some real good play. The fullback obviously getting forward into Garcia, who beats his man. He beats his man. We turned American, and it's going to be Lopez heading it in. A very great ball into the box, and quite an easy header from Lopez, but nevertheless a great goal. As we should apply some pressure here, I'm hoping to see, as they are sort of playing around us a bit, but obviously, you know, it eventually comes to an end as we do tuck it in to the right hand corner, and you'll see how well we sort of were marking players there. It was pretty much his only option to go back. And that's what this tactic does so well, because the midfield players cover so many areas, as Garcia puts the ball back stick into Lopez. And we are seeing a bit more of the direct approach with this one now, with this team, which is also a good way, because I want to show you, obviously, that it's not all purely from tiki-taka, as Rafael obviously does drive up the top through to Lopez. There is an option in the middle. Is he going to use him? He isn't. He's got to hit one of the best goals I think I've actually seen this FM. Bar, post, and out, but obviously it did cross the line, so the goal does count. Rafael building up again here, overlap and fullback into Dudu, who's just going to drive at the back line, absolutely burns the back line, a ball in into Vega, and it's going to be one of the easiest goals of his career, but a goal I don't think he's going to complain about too much. Rafael again here, the key man in this team. Absolute acres of space to drive into. Is he going to cut back? He is. Into Dudu, into the centre, and it's just elegance. I mean, you can see there was 3 players waiting for that ball right there. There's never a lack of options when you get the ball into the box, which is why having them overlap and fullbacks is such a good idea. As we can see again, Dudu out wide, and he just... I mean, it's absolutely incredible. I think the defence may have gone to sleep, but the fact, just the cheek to play that ball in at that speed is absolutely incredible. We've got Navarro now. Is he going to cut back? He's going to cut back into Dudu. Is Dudu going to strike it? Dudu's going to pass it. It should have been a penalty, but we've got to take the goal anyway, as Vega does get a sort of an off-the-turn finish, which we've got to take nevertheless. And Endrick here wins the flick on into Navarro. Waits for Endrick again. Great bit of play into Tabata, that is, and he goes through, and at this point, the keeper's given up. He's been Panenka down the middle while actually standing down the middle. So it's an interesting one, but a game we absolutely dominated, and one which I'm happy to show you the highlights with. But that's going to be all the highlights, so let's now go over and break down this fantastic 4-3-1-2. So everyone, we're now into your favourite part of the video, the ultimate 4-3-1-2, finally. Highly requested, I know. If you are enjoying the video so far though, please do leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and do turn on notifications. And I also want to say, if you guys do want to join the Discord, you're more than welcome to. It's in the description. It's the best place for your tactics, Wonder Kid talk, just anything FM really. It's a really good community, over 330 members so far. So do come and get involved. Trust me, you won't regret it. But let's go ahead and break down this tactic. So we're going to kick things off then by going over some of, first off, this is done off of tiki-taka, the sort of the play style, just to get that out there, because I know I always forget to mention that. In terms of the mentality, it's going to be set to positive. Now, I would say if you are hunting for a lot of goals, you want to go more sort of that approach. You could get away with attacking, but for me, positive was just enough to win the games. Not necessarily by 7-8 goals every game, but that's sort of the best option for me. In terms of the possession, you want fairly wide. Obviously, it is a narrow tactic, so having it fairly wide does help a little bit. Overlap left and right. You've seen why. This is literally a must. You must do this. Play out of defence, much shorter, a slightly higher tempo. Work ball into the box would be more expressive on, and low crosses. In transition, you want counter press, counter, distribute quickly, distribute to the centre-backs and the full-backs, and take short goal kicks. Out of possession, you want a standard defensive line, a high press line of engagement, and more often. Now, if you are looking for goals, you want to try and get a load more. There's a lot of things you could do. So for starters, you could change the attacking to an attacking mentality. You could also look to have run at defense on. You know, especially with the fullbacks that are overlapping, just let them drive at them. I mean, they do it anyway, but let them drive at them. You could possibly even, if you are desperately for a goal, you could look to push this up one, so you're not forced to play that sort of, short control and style. This will probably make it go a little bit more direct in my opinion. But if you are in need of a goal, it's a very good shout indeed. And obviously, there's lots you can do with the player roles. For example, you could actually have these fullbacks, not the fullbacks, sorry. You could have these midfield players swapped about. So this one you could even have as a shadow striker. So obviously, he'd sort of be up here then. You could also have the Metzala on attack. You could even get away with having like a deep line playmaker instead of a ball-winning midfielder. Obviously, looking for a more progressive type of passing sort of route. And that's another thing you could do as well. There's so much you could change with this tactic, which also makes it really, really good. But if you've got any questions, again, you can always leave them in the comments. So the player roles. Sweeper keeper on take more risks. Wingback is going to be on attack, aim the crosses at the centre, shoot less often, stay wider, run wide, cross from the byline and also get further forwards. On the left-hand side, exactly the same. Now, the reason why they're exactly the same is because I have no use for switching them. I mean, if one works, and it works for both fullbacks, why on earth would I switch it? I do feel like some people overcomplicate tactics sometimes to the point where they just want to have something different for the sake of having it different. Whereas this, it works completely fine. So exactly the same for both fullbacks, just to let you know. Now, ball-playing defenders, they are a little bit different. The one on the left is on defend, stay wider, has to be, because we've got very attacking fullbacks. Take more risks and hold position, and the right-hand side is pass it shorter, shoot less often, stay wider, take more risks, and also hold position. Stay wider is an absolute must on these centre-backs. Now, in the midfield, at the centre of the midfield, we've got a ball-winning midfielder. Yes, you could also use a DM. That would work completely fine. On support, pass it shorter, dribble less, and also tackle harder. On the left-hand side, in my opinion, it's a must. A box-to-box, unless you really want to go attacking, I would always have a box-to-box. On support, pass it shorter, get further forward, stay wider, tackle harder, and roam from position. And on the right, we've got a Metzala on support, pass it shorter, dribble more, shoot less often, tackle harder, get further forward, stay wider, move into channels, and also roam from position. We then go over higher up the field into the advanced playmaker, on support, pass it shorter, roam from position, shoot less often, and also take more risks. In this position, you could easily get away with an attacking midfielder, and as I said, more attacking option would be a shadow striker, so that is definitely something you could look to do if you wish to go that little bit more attacking. We then have two advanced forwards, and they are slightly different. One of them on the right, or the guy on the right, and it doesn't really matter which side you do this on, but for me, I went with the right. You can have him on pass it shorter, stay wider, and move into channels on attack. And the left-hand side, an advanced forward on attack also, but pass it shorter, shoot more often, and also move into channels. I don't want both of them drifting wide. One of them going wide is helpful, but they don't need to do it. So only one. You can pick which one. It's completely up to you. But in my opinion, I would go with what I went with because I know it works. That's the only reason I'm saying it. But that is going to be this tactic broken down. And honestly, it's a ton of fun to play with. It's not easy to really make tactics on this new map change, and I'm going to be real, so I'm going to say a couple of things now sort of as an added bonus. For example, on my live stream, which you should check out by the way, twitch.tv/JoshDaily, link on the screen and in description, we'll plug it right now. I would honestly drop this line to lower. It had a ridiculous amount of impact on my Twitch stream save. We were on standard and we were conceding quite a few goals. We dropped it to lower and it has completely turned around our season. I can't explain it, but it just works. So that would be my one bit of advice. Obviously, this was on standard and it worked fine. But if you are conceding too many, I would definitely look to do that because for me, it fixed a lot of my issues over at Bologna. So I would give it a go. But that is going to be this video done for today, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, and keep the tactic requests coming. Keep commenting any positive comments. We love the vibes around here. I'll see you guys, which is going to be now in Thursday's video, and I hope you have a fantastic couple of days, and I'll see you in the next one.